Yo, what's good, family? It's Christmas Day, December 25th, 2025, and welcome back to Fed by Fire. I'm happy to be here where we don't fold, we forge. I'm Christian Whitlow, and if you're new here, this is a channel all about real stories from the streets, the jails, the trap houses, for the broken, the voiceless, the damaged, the jaded, and the ones just still fighting. And today's episode is special because it's my very, very first Christmas clean after 14 years of addiction, battling with H, ice, overdoses, raids, and multiple rock bottoms that should have probably fucking killed me 10 times over. But I'm sitting here in my 2-story house, and yeah, the one I'd never thought I'd be able to afford or have, without, of course, flipping something illegal or doing something I shouldn't. But the tree's lit up, twinkling, presents wrapped. Got to hear my daughter's laughter echoing from downstairs when I woke up this morning. Life couldn't be better. My wife, my ride or die, who pulled me out of hell, she's in the kitchen whipping up dinner, and me, I'm 1 week from hitting 1 full year sober. My sober birthday was December 18th. No needles, no dope, no sickness, no paranoia, just gratitude. But I know everybody's feeling that today. So if you're watching this and you're dope sick in a motel, or you're balling out, crashing on a friend's couch, or even in a cell staring at concrete walls, this episode is for you, and I just want you to know this Christmas you are not alone. We're going to dive deep into my Christmas stories from the dark days, what flipped the script this year and is different. And since it's the end of 2025, we're throwing in a recap of some of the wildest crime headlines that shook the world this year. Because even on Christmas, the game, or crime, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't stop. But neither does hope. So, grab your coffee, grab your eggnog, whatever you got, and let's get into it. Alright. So looking back, Christmas is in the life. Man, Christmas and active addiction, let me tell you about it. It's like the universe cranks up the pain just to test you. That, everybody's happy, posting happy family pictures on social media. Kids are ripping and opening gifts. Tables full of food. All things you wish you had when you're just out there scheming, hope to scrape together enough for one more bag, for one more play, or on for the better days. The days that you're slaving away trying to flip a pack. So let me take y'all back to my first Christmas I really remember spiraling. It was 2012 when I was 14. We just moved into the Victorian apartment I talk about in my book, where my mom and my sister had a lot going on there. There was a lot of shaking and baking going on in every room. The lights never went off in that place. People in and out like a drive-through. And I'm not glamorizing none of this, but at the end of it, we ended up losing it in a shelter. No tree, no presents, just me smoking spice in the bathroom, trying to numb the fact that, things I loved had always been taken. My babysitters talked me out of my Xbox, my Game Boy. My mom always did the best she could. She hustled her pills. She got money any way she could. She got me shoes, Game Boys. But the one thing she always did do was give me a great Christmas. She was a great mom. And I just had my own problems as a child. But there I sit, listening to Nirvana on the radio, wishing that I could just disappear. And looking back, I miss those days. But let's fast forward to another year in 2018, where I'm with my wife. And, we had just had our newborn son. But, I'm more dope sick than ever. I'd been pressure washing that day at Shoney's. It was my first job. My temper's shot from withdrawal. And, we had lost custody of our son. It was a very traumatic year. It was hell. I won't dive too deep into it. But imagine, watching your kid go to foster care, So that Christmas I spent nodding out in a trailer with no power, stealing Lord tabs for my mom to stay well. And, my wife was just trying to make it festive as she could with dollar store lights, But, we fought every day. We were too far gone. And I dipped when things got tough, and I regret that. That same year, I had several suicide attempts. It was just some really dark time. That's why I'm thankful for here. And now let's talk about 2020-ish, the COVID era. My wife's in jail. My partner in crime that I was with at the time that destroyed my life. We're in a hotel. We're hotel hopping, burning through stimulus checks like they're infinite Christmas presents. We're in a Super 8, powers flickering, freezing our asses off. We pulled $40 to get a half gram of H to be well, and some rigs, which I only shot up. But we woke up Christmas morning. She looks at me with those hollow eyes and says, "Merry Christmas, baby." And we laugh, that bitter, broken laugh, because what else did we have? No family, no calls, no gifts. Just the chase that never stops. One of the worst was in the county jail in 2021. So in my jail was good. On Christmas they have Hardee's for breakfast, Papa John's for lunch, and Jimmy John's for dinner. It's probably the best thing. But on that same day, dudes are crying on the phone to their kids, promising they'll be there next year. That some of them still are saying they haven't met their boy. And I was in there that year with my boy Justin. He's a solid dude. He's doing 6 in the state, 11 in the feds right now. Shout out Justin. But we played spades. We shared stories. But inside, you're dying a little and just trying to stay strong on the outside. And the last year, 2024, I got caught stealing mopeds on December 18th, my sober birthday. Got pinched, loaded the third one, spent Christmas in a cell, twitching, detoxing. They switched me to Suboxone on Christmas Day. I begged God for a change. And little did I know that was the turning point that changed my life. So this year, let's talk about the Christmas miracle. This year is night and day. So on February 5th of 2024, my wife bonded me out. She took a chance on me, and she was the one who answered every call, and she visited on the video. She sent me messages. She did everything she did. She believed in me when I didn't. And eventually, she said, "Pack your shit, fuck your old life, fuck that stuff. We're moving an hour away. Leave the plugs, leave the drama, leave all of it behind." And you know what I said? I said yes. Because that was the first smart decision I ever made. When I got out, I got on Brixardi, the long-acting shot that helped kill my cravings. And, the methadone clinic wasn't healthy for me. I landed a warehouse job at the same place she does. And the rest is history. We've been grinding almost a year now. At that doing the 9 to 5, acting like a normal human. No more hand-to-hands, no more re-ups, no more paranoia, no more wires, no more raids. Just Christmas morning, I wake up, my daughter shaking me saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Santa came." We ripped open presents, toys, clothes, and that's something no high could ever give me, And, my wife, she made ham, she made stuffing, and it was beautiful. We FaceTimed our little boy and told him Merry Christmas. But, this year hits different without my mom, being that she passed on November 10th. This is going to be the first Christmas without her hustle, without her love, without her chaos. I miss her every single day. But I know she's up there. I know she's proud. I finally listened. And losing her made me reflect all those years that she tried to keep us afloat. And today, I'm forging a new path for my daughter so she never knows that life. Peace isn't flashy. Bring it. But it's real. And if you come here. And if you can get here from that shed behind Hardee's, then do it. Because I know y'all can. This is 2025. We're going to break down some of the best headlines going all around the country this year. All right, family, let's get into it. Shut that door, baby. Alright. Fed by Fire is all about those real stories. So let's switch gear for a minute. And, Christmas, it just reminds me, of why we gotta fight for our kids, why we gotta fight for a good life. And all my single parents out there, shout out, keep trying, it'll work out. Put the work in, it'll all go right. But law enforcement has been taking, a lot of force against Mexican cartels like Sinaloa and CJNG. The DEA reported record seizures and arrests this year, focusing on synthetic opioids killing thousands. So, here are the biggest highlights in the game from the DEA, the DOJ, and other sources. Number one, the largest Fetty bust in DEA history in May 2025. We talked about it on the channel. DEA's El Paso division seized over 400 keys of that Fetty, 2.7 million pills, plus ice, blow, H, guns, and cash. They also arrested 16 people, including Sinaloa cartel leader Heriberto Salazar Amaya. This multi-state operation, New Mexico, Arizona, Oregon, Utah, Nevada, was called a huge blow to the cartel. So, the first half of 2025 DEA seizures were reported from July 2025. From January to the mid-year, DEA grabbed 44 million Fetty pills, 4,500 pounds of Fetty powder, 65,000 pounds of ice, 201,000 pounds of blow, made 2,105 Fetty arrests, shutting down ICE labs in California and big intercepts in Texas, South Carolina, Georgia, and New England. Let's talk about the global darknet operation called Raptor that happened in June 2025. The infiltration effort led to 270 arrests across continents, seizing tons of drugs, 144 keys of Fetty, 180 firearms, and 200 million in cash and crypto. They targeted a dark web, fentanyl, Fetty, and opioid sales. CJNG surge in September 2025, a week-long operation against the Jalisco cartel resulted in hundreds of arrests and multiple seizures. Millions of counterfeit pills, 77,000 keys of drugs in Arkansas led with 25 arrests in 4 state sweeps. Number 5, let's talk about the New York City-based network takedown. In June 2025, 13 were charged nearly with 500 kilos of blow, plus Fetty, ice, cash, drugs shipped from California, NYC, into upstate New York. And let's talk about some other notable cases. The Louisville division got 170,000 fake Pressies off the street and 177 kilograms of that Fetty powder, 89 million deadly doses, various sentences, 20 plus years for ice, Fetty causing deaths. Sinaloa linked wives and leaders were all sentenced this year. Let's talk about emerging threats like nitazines, the super potent synthetics, and xylazine, something that's mixing into our supply and driving overdoses through the roof. So, the DEA's 2025 National Drug Threat Assessment stressed that cartels like Sinaloa and CJNG are dominating the drug trade with Chinese precursors and rising drug cocktails. And from my experience in the streets, that Fetty, it'll take you out. It almost took me out a few times. We had a very toxic relationship. Multiple times it almost killed me. I've had 17 overdoses. But these busts save lives. The dope still flows. And if you're dealing or you're using, this could be your future. Or your wake up. Or your call to get out. So, that was a recap of 2025. We talked about busts like the Boston Crew I covered from before, the conspiracy out of San Diego. These were all real Fed by Fire, real federal cases the consequence is all the same. If you're in the game, watch. Because these are going to be your future if you don't pivot. So, this is my message to y'all. Christmas, if any of these stories hit you, or if you're living that way right now, listen up. You're not too far gone. Because I thought I was a lost cause, overdosed in comas, living in tents, in sheds. I burned every bridge I thought. But grace, it finds you. And Christmas is about hope. Not the lights, not the gifts, hope. So I don't judge anyone on the relapses or the rap sheet. If you're alone today, if you're sick, if you're broke, if you need somebody, you got me. DM me your story. We can maybe have you on here. If you're fighting, I read this one. This channel's for you. The junkie in the tent. The dealer on the corner. The mom second guessing. The mom in prison missing her kids. You're not a throwaway. You're valued. You're loved. And shout out to the viewers who shared their wins. Like the homie who just hit 90 days clean. Shout out to you after my last vid on the sister rebuilding after losing custody to her son. Y'all inspire me. And, this has been a great Christmas. This has been Christmas 2025. And let's talk about what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my daughter's hug, my wife's faith, a job that pays an honest wage, and a year clean. I lost my mom, but I gained peace. And a CO once said to me, there's 3 people that love you. Jesus, your mama, and the Department of Corrections. But I say, wrong. Add your kids, the real ones, and yourself. And when you finally choose you, don't pick up today. Think about the small wins, going to the clinic, going to the church, calling the hotline, whatever. One day at a time. Merry Christmas, family. Smash that fucking like button. Subscribe. And thank you guys. I'll see y'all on the next one.